Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta arrived in Germany yesterday, and this video went viral. You can see he was actually accompanied by our ambassador to Germany, who serves both Germany, Czech Republic, and Poland. And the information actually about the fourth president there came at a time that the country was actually attacking, not the country, but let me say some gullible politicians were actually attacking Uhuru Kenyatta, linking him to Raila Odinga's downfall in Addis Ababa. So if you see, of course, one thing I like about Europe is there are no huge convoys, no huge convoys. This is just three. You get a police mbele, Uhuru katikati, and that other one. So he made a visit. You can see the reception he had there. Of course, by yesterday we didn't know what exactly was going on. The president was there with the delegation. He only had the ambassador, and also not carried so many people. One thing I liked about it is lanes, friend. You might not, and then after that, after he arrived, he also went for some meeting, with the president, and the information they shared, was this: His Excellency Right Honorable, His Excellency President Right Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta today paid a courtesy call on German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier. I cannot mention that name, please. At Bellevue Palace in Berlin, Germany. During the visit, the former head of state was accompanied by Kenya's ambassador to Germany, Stella Mokaya Orina, who also serves as the envoy to Poland and Czech Republic. Then you can see his arrival. He signed the visitor's book, and then after that, we never saw it. But you will like the reception. You will like the kind of reception that President Ruto, the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, got there. It's really telling that, of course, the question that then came out was, because when he made this post, they're normally fond of explaining cooperation between Germany and Kenya. I never saw it there. But of course, in his capacity as the fourth president of Office of the fourth president of the Republic of Kenya, and that information is shared in that Twitter page, then that already telling that he was there in his capacity as the fourth president. Then today, of course, we saw it yesterday because could not do bit of that speculation. So today, the 18th of February, President Ruto attended the burial, funeral ceremony of late German President Horst Kohler. And I realized one thing. I've looked at the photos here. I just want to look at a couple of photos here. Of course, him paying the last respect. And then in that congregation, rather in that group of mourners, Uhuru Kenyatta was actually taking a front seat. It was, and that is telling you, because I wanted to know really, is it on his just like another friend or another citizen? So he was actually in the front seat and attended that burial. You will also understand that not so many foreign presidents, not any, I didn't see any African president there. Not any African president was seen there. So, of course, I want to understand it was actually in his capacity as the former president. So, today he gave a statement. The office released a statement. And I would just want us to walk through the statement as we look at the photos. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta delivered a heartfelt eulogy at the state funeral service. He attended the state funeral service. Guy, that was a state funeral service. Aina watu wengi, by the way. Hey. Aina watu wengi. I want you to compare that with what happened here when Moi died. Hey, it was a show. Tunatoa mwili na wakati tunarudisha, tuwaone tunarudisha. That was not that. I think I like the way they did it. I didn't know. Now if you look at the post, and that is why I want us to go through the post, because there are things I want us to pick from there. The German president Horst Kohler held at the Berlin Cathedral. In his speech, President Kenyatta paid tribute to Kohler's remarkable leadership, dedication to global affairs, and unwavering commitment to Africa's development. Kenyatta recalled Kohler's pivotal visits across African continent, where he met with leaders both at the national and community levels. And emblematic of his belief in the strength of partnerships between Germany and Africa. In Kenya, he focused on advancing sustainable development goals, highlighting the importance of wildlife conservation, which is vital to our country. Now, this is telling you that Uhuru Kenyatta went there on behalf of us, on behalf of Kenya. There's no any other African president seen there. The former Kenyan president also emphasized Kohler's dedication to equitable development. What stood out most during that visit was his commitment to ensuring that benefits of development were shared equitably, always with an eye toward empowering local communities, Kenyatta noted. Kenyatta points Kohler's vision for Africa's future, which he believed lay in its institutions' youth capacity for innovation. He knew that to bridge the divide between continents, there needed to be collaboration, respect, and mutual benefit. He was a tireless advocate for using education and technical training as the building blocks for lasting change. In his closing remarks, he encouraged attendees to celebrate Kohler's life and legacy rather than solely mourn his passing. He highlighted Kohler's lasting influence on countless lives and emphasized his efforts to create a future built on international collaboration to effectively address global challenges. I realized the ex-president served between 2004 to 2010. So Uhuru Kenyatta was the president between 2013 to 2022. That means that Uhuru never worked with him as a president. But of course, he attended, even the one who passed on was actually a former president. So there could have been some organization that is joining them together. But then you will understand the kind of reception that was there. I looked at this, and of course now that clears the air in terms of what all this discussion is going on. And I realized one thing. I want us to listen to Willis Otieno. Willis Otieno said something. The Uhuru Kenyatta reception and the honor in Germany is really revealing that as much as we can look at our flaws here, globally we are not doing bad. And let me just get, I got this reaction from Willis Otieno about Raila Odinga loss at AUC. And there is something he said I'll want us to get.
Let me start by demystifying a point raised by my brother Charles, that Kenya is not wanted internationally. In fact, to begin with, when we play our diplomacy right, we get seats. Uhuru Kenyatta in his final term, Kenya went for the UN Security Council seat, and Kenya was able to marshal the entire African Union to support the Kenyan candidate. When the matter went before vote before the UN, and the competitor for Kenya was the same Djibouti candidate, Kenya won. We won both in Africa and we won at the global level. So you ask yourself, when did the rain start beating us? And that's why I say our problem as a country started when William Ruto has put his personal interest over national interest. And I've told you in particular, in the SADC region, what is the interest of Kenya being perceived as supporting the rebel movement in DRC? And more so, when they were hosted here in Kenya and they launched the onslaught, they launched their movement here in Nairobi. SADC candidate, the Madagascar, got 10 votes. If SADC had been part of the Raila campaign, had owned the Raila campaign, Raila would have started on the first of the ballot. You will have had a minimum 30 votes. You will only be looking for 3. So if he got 30 votes in the first round, It would have been far much easier for consensus to build around him. But off the ballot, you have a regional bloc that is saying Kenya as a country is hostile to our interests. You mentioned Tshisekedi, you mentioned Ramaphosa. Those are personal friends of Raila Odinga. But Tshisekedi is sitting there to cast a vote for the Kenyan candidate. And that is going to impact on his national interest. Now we have presidents whose national interest supersedes personal interest. I do believe, in all fairness, Tshisekedi will not cast a vote for Raila Odinga, despite being his personal friend that they've known each other for so long. In South Africa today, they are crying about the 13 soldiers who are killed in Goma. They are actually baying for war in South Africa. Ramaphosa, despite being Raila's longtime friend from the 1980s, I'm sure you will be hard-pressed to explain a vote to a friend when the national interest in regard to the conflict in DRC has led to 13 South African soldiers dead. But to what gain are we as Kenyans getting? And that's why I say William Ruto saw this as an opportunity. Raila having announced on his own that I've offered myself to be the candidate, he saw it as an opportunity again to pursue personal interest. And the personal interest was this, that if Raila were to win in the AU, I'll be able to bring myself to get his local political support base. I do believe that if Raila were declared the winner, William Ruto's presidential jet will have landed in Kisumu Airport, you will have gone to Kibuye Catholic Church to pray, you will have done a rally at Kondele, to just create a national wave that will help him to gain that constituency. Now that it did not work, since he was expecting the flowers of Raila victory, it is only in order for him to accept the thorns and wear that crown of thorns on his head. He failed the Kenyan people in this quest. We had the best candidate, he had the strongest credentials so far that you can talk about in the country, but he was failed due to international positioning and personal interest of William Ruto in terms of international relations with other countries. And let me say this, when Amina lost to Faki, again, the issue was SADC. SADC as a region had felt that since Dlamini had only done one term, as SADC they were entitled to do 2 terms, and they proposed Botswana. When Botswana did not go past the first round of voting, SADC countries decided to keep off that election. They did not transfer their votes to the Kenyan candidate. So we must ask ourselves, in terms of even close proximity, we are closer to the SADC region. So Tanzania here is our neighbor, is a member of SADC. Why is it that at all times we are always at loggerheads with SADC? Personal interest supersedes national interest.
Okay. Kin, that is what I wanted to explain. We are not doing as bad as we may think we are doing. We are not doing as bad as we may think we are doing. And is very clear. We got a seat in United Nations Security Council. Yes. Yes. So we are a superpower and we beat Djibouti. Tulishinda hii Djibouti yenye imetushinda Raila hapa. And that was during Uhuru era. We got it. So don't you even realize that as much as, yes, we lost AU during Uhuru's era, but during the same time, we had some very big strides at the UN. And that is telling, in fact, one of the biggest HQ, headquarters for the UN, is being built here. Is here and is going to be built, I think somewhere, the process is somewhere in Kenya. And I want to explain, I want to interpret our global standing. As much as we are looking at the other challenges that are involved in it, but I want us to look at our diplomacy in the global standing beyond Africa. Africa, Raila Odinga's law has punctured our diplomatic standing in the continent because, as President Ruto team said, we had a superior candidate. We still lost. We had lost back in 28 years ago. But before that, I want to still remind you to subscribe to our channel, and I want to say thank you for those who supported Josephine's appeal. That was our project for this month of February. And by the way, in March, we are going for granny care. Yes, I have a call. We've been called to support somewhere yeah, in Kakamega, yeah. So we are going to do some granny care, some serious granny care work next month. But on this first, I want to say thank you. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to show you what's going on. We are still finalizing na hiyo place mali wanafaa fungue hiyo biashara, and immediately it will be done, and that should be before the end of this week. Josephine will get there and start working, and then we'll be able to show you live from that place. Now, there's some lessons we need to learn from Uhuru Kenyatta's trip to Germany. And that was even a state funeral. You know, that was a state funeral. From the time anaingia, unaona the traffic is flowing smoothly. The traffic is flowing smoothly. If you look at the attendance there, it is not huge. You know, it is not huge. From there, they just went direct. That was a burial of a former president. You know, I was looking at those photos. That was the burial of a former president. Not so many African presidents were invited. No single sitting president was invited. Yeah, I saw there was Uhuru Kenyatta and the president from Maldives. And it's only Uhuru Kenyatta who spoke there. So you look at the simplicity of it. Traffic was flowing. Not huge delegation, not convoys. Uhuru Kenyatta went there. Gari yake katikati, polisi nyuma, yake katikati, of course diplomatic corps ahead, yake katikati, the other one behind. The escort one. Just one escort car. Of course two. So we should actually take care of our former presidents. As much as we want to soil their reputation locally, you say Uhuru did that, Uhuru did this, Uhuru did that, we should actually protect. We should not see a situation where the president have to go beg State House to pay retirement benefits. Because these are also people, it is part of extension of our diplomatic standing. It also helps us, and it's part of the wing in our diplomatic standing. Even though Ruto regime and Raila laws had a big hit on our diplomacy, we might be doing bad in the continent. And we are doing bad in the continent because of what Willis is talking about. That's why we're doing bad. But globally, we are not doing bad. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta was given honor, the only one there. And I saw it. And even given a speech in such a solemn event. And it was received by a president of the Republic of Germany. Kenya should not drag Uhuru's name into this Raila mess. I tend to see, I did tell you that Uhuru Kenyatta was not in Addis Ababa. I kept on telling you. Now it comes out Uhuru Kenyatta was actually in Germany. Yes. By the time, the election was Saturday. You pitched talk on Monday. So by the time, he was still in Germany all that time. Was not even around. So the discussion of dragging Uhuru Kenyatta's name, that pathetic talk needs to stop. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my take. Let's meet in the next. Thank you.